By end of day on the 17th of January 2024, the UK rail freight operator DB Cargo UK withdrew the remainder of their Class 60 fleet, with the 3 last locomotives all being subsequently added to the WQBA stored pool. Whilst other Class 60s live on with other operators on the UK main line, the move marks the end of an era for the class, nicknamed Tugs, with what was once their primary operator. With the Tugs being known for their exceptional strength even when compared to the ubiquitous Class 66s, what motivated such a move by the operator? We'll initially go over a brief history of the class before looking at how they compare to their Class 66 counterparts for an understanding of what led to the demise of the locomotives. The origins of the Tugs go back as far as the 1980s, whilst the railways were still under the control of British Rail. The rail freight sectors were, at the time, suffering from poor reliability of existing locomotives, particularly, but not limited to, the British Rail Class 56s. This reliability was indeed so poor that one of the customers of British Rail, Foster Yeoman, decided to order a new class of locomotive from the American manufacturer EMD, with Foster Yeoman requiring a minimum of 95% availability. This became the Class 59s, with the first examples of this class being delivered to the UK in January of 1986. This class was so reliable that the fleet accomplished an exceptional 99.3% availability in their first year of operation, putting to shame the state of the many British Rail classes. As a result, towards the end of the 1980s, British Rail were led towards ordering new Type 5 freight locomotives, which would be specified to also achieve at least 95% availability. Despite EMD's Class 59 product being the obvious choice based on the success of the Foster Yeoman examples, British Rail were deterred out of fear of such an order creating tensions with trade unions over the lack of support for British manufacturers. The subsequent bidding process was won by Brush Traction, who went on to complete the order of 100 locomotives which were built at Loughborough, the examples subsequently being classified as Class 60s. Unfortunately, the class was initially plagued with teething technical issues, meaning the first examples of the class did not begin on revenue-earning service until 1990. Despite this, the pulling power of the locomotives was exceptional, allowing not only for the replacement of many classes of locomotives, but also the eradication of double heading on most freight services. Upon the privatisation of British Rail, the locomotives were split among 3 operators: Load Haul, Transrail and Mainline, though all 3 of these firms would quickly be bought out by EWS, uniting the entire fleet under one operator. EWS inherited a large, problematic fleet of locomotives from British Rail, including Class 60s, all of which showed poor availability. Dissatisfied, EWS were led to ordering new locomotives from EMD, leading to the highly reliable Class 66 fleet, which replaced many XBR locomotives. This became one of the most infamous fleet replacements of post-privatisation, due to the replacing of many older diesels loved by enthusiasts. However, the Class 60s survived this purge, with them being retained for their superior starting tractive effort. By the early 2000s, the Class 60s required an overhaul to be kept running, work that EWS was reluctant to perform, leading to minimal service use and rumours of permanent withdrawal. In 2007, EWS was acquired by DB Schenker, which, in 2010, scrapped 20 Class 60s and overhauled another 20, creating the Super 60s with enhanced technical components. 10 Class 60s were sold to Colas Rail Freight in 2014, with these locomotives later acquired by GBRF. The Super 60s continued hauling heavy loads for DB Schenker, later DB Cargo UK, throughout the 2010s and into the 2020s, with some locomotives sold to DC Rail. Amid financial struggles post-COVID-19, DB Cargo announced significant cost-cutting measures in late 2023, including workforce reductions and the withdrawal of Class 90s and later Class 60s, The latter was to be replaced by 10 modified Class 66s with increased tractive effort, to be designated 66-651 to 66-660. The final 3 Class 60s in service were withdrawn on the 17th of January 2024. Now, why would DB withdraw their entire Class 60 fleet in favour of a Class 66 micro fleet? Well, operational costs appear to be the main contributing factor given the financial situation the company has found itself in. With DB reported as making losses in recent times, it is likely that the company is trying to increase profitability through reducing operational costs. The Class 66 fleet has continued to demonstrate a substantially higher level of reliability and availability compared to the Class 60s, which is beneficial to operators as locomotives spend less time being fixed and more time operating revenue-earning flows. To that end, it is only logical that the standardisation of Class 66 use across all DB freight flows will be financially beneficial to the operator. From a performance perspective, the Class 60s are pretty much equal to the Class 66-6s in terms of both power output and tractive effort. As a result, the only foreseeable downside to withdrawal of the Class 60s is a reduction in total operating capacity for DB. However, given the redundancies that have been taking place at the company in recent times, it is likely that this is not seen as an issue. In the end, the Class 66 has seemingly proven time and again that it offers a more compelling operational advantage for DB over the Class 60s based on reliability. As a result, the latter bowed out with the operator to make way for standardisation. However, it must be stated that this conclusion contains some speculation alongside the information I have access to, so it is very possible that the actual reason for withdrawal differs somewhat. The Class 60 is an iconically powerful locomotive, and it will be sorely missed from DB workings, though I personally hope that the class will live on with GBRF and DCR into the future. Thank you very much for watching once again, and please enjoy this compilation of DB Class 60 operations.
Indeed. Wow. Bye.